What's up, guys? So in this video that you're about to watch, there's a lot of there's some feedback. I don't know why there's feedback, but there's feedback for some strange reason and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm still trying to work out how these things go and everything else like that. So I apologize. I didn't want to redo the video again, and so I decided just to make this little announcement. So you see if you hear like a feedback beep and stuff like that, that is why. I apologize, but anyways, other than that, thank you and enjoy the video. Welcome to another episode of Toya Talks Wrestling, and today we're going to talk about Raw, April 21st, 2025, the Raw after WrestleMania. And I must say, I'm going to go ahead and say it, I give this Raw like a 9. It was really good. Really good. I was like, I think it was like more than 3 hours, but it's slow, so like naturally it was great. So let's talk about some stuff. We started off with John Cena. John Cena had like a great promo. He had a lot of pyro, everything else. They put up the number 17 because he won the 17 champion. He had the announcer re-announces him as the GOAT and everything else and all this other stuff. He basically talked about how he won, how he beat Cody and everything else. No mention of The Rock or anything else like that. He had some other things as well. I'm not gonna get into everything, but had a great promo as always, right? He was like, he ridiculed the audience because fuck the fans, right? And he told the audience, tell everyone in the audience, to get the cameras out. He's gonna do them a favor. He's gonna be nice, and take the picture of the last real champion and everything else. And in the background, as he's holding up the title, you see Randy Orton creeping up behind him, and he's just standing there, right? And then John Cena turns around and he said, "Shit!" And then he gets an RKO. So, looks like Randy Orton is calling his spot for that championship, which Backlash is in St. Louis, Missouri. On May, I believe. So on May 10th, I believe. So yeah, I can totally see a John Cena versus Randy Orton for the title. I think it's great. I like the idea, but it is a voiceover. Also, Cody Rhodes was not on the show, and I don't know if John Cena is going to be on SmackDown. I don't even know if Cody's going to be on SmackDown. I recorded like 5 videos. Randy was there. And Game RKO. It was great. It was fantastic. Really it's still watchable. Alright, so let's move on. Let's talk about some Judgment Day stuff. So Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez had a rematch for their titles because yesterday on WrestleMania they lost their, well, not yesterday because yesterday's Monday. WrestleMania second night 2, they lost their titles against Lyra and Becky Lynch. Now I know it was supposed to be Bayley, but storyline Bayley, it was attacked and she couldn't do it, so Lyra needed a new partner. So Lyra got Becky Lynch, and they won at WrestleMania. So now they are the new tag team titles champions. And Liv and Raquel are looking to get them back. So they had this match. It was like the first match, I believe. It was a very good match. This match was a lot better, I think, than the WrestleMania match. I really enjoyed it. It ended up with Becky and Raquel Rodriguez pretty much being thrown out the ring. And then Lyra Valkyria was in the position of Oblivion, and she got Oblivion by Liv Morgan. And 1, 2, 3, we got new tag team champions. And I was like, okay, well, that's that, I guess. What was the point of that? I have no idea. And I thought about it, and I'm like, wait a minute. I mentioned this a couple of times, but instead of with Becky, it was with Bayley instead of Becky, saying that Bayley would probably turn on Lyra if they lost again to Liv and Raquel or whatever. So that's exactly what happened. Becky turned on Lyra. So I was right. Just got the name wrong, but the execution was right. Becky turned on Lyra, beat her up, and everything else like that. She did a manhandle slam on her. The audience was like, one more time, one more time. So she did it one more time, and everything else. And so I'm guessing now we're gonna have a Becky versus Lyra feud, and I'm pretty sure that we're gonna find out that Becky was the one that attacked Bayley, and maybe we'll have a Bayley versus Becky feud, which I don't mind. I kind of like the idea. I don't know, think the two horsewomen going up against each other, not bad and everything else. Yeah, hopefully this can also just. Like I said, Lyra Valkyria needed a good heel opponent to go against and stuff like that. So hopefully Becky Lynch, she can be a good heel and can elevate Lyra and put her over and stuff like that. I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen as well. So we had also with the Judgment Day, there was a backstage segment where Finn Balor was looking at Dominic and was looking at the IC title and everything else, and Liv Morgan was trying to hey, because they were celebrating Liv and Raquel's fourth, because they're the fourth tag team title. If they get to be five, let's say five times. Anyways, I'm being silly, but yeah, so they were celebrating, and then like I said, Finn Balor is looking at Dom and Intercontinental Championship and everything else like that. And Liv is like, look, it doesn't really matter who won the title as long as the title is in the Judgment Day, right? And stuff like that. And Finn Balor smiles and says, look, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So, Finn, congratulations. I will be out there and everything else like that. And then Carlito's playing off being injured and everything else from the spear that he took at WrestleMania from Braun Breaker, and he's like, and we are not champions, we don't got belts or anything, but we feel like champions, right? And everything else. And Finn Balor just looks disgusted. He looks at Dominic Mysterio and the title again in a disgusting manner and everything like that. So Dominic Mysterio had a match. He went against Penta for the IC title. He's already doing work, right? So he goes over and he has his match. It wasn't that very long, because I think it was because the whole point of the match was to introduce or reintroduce JD McDonough. He is back. He is back. He's back from injury. So I don't know what this means, because I remember they were talking about a new member, so I don't know that this means they're going to get a new member, or are they going to be fine with this JD now and not have a new member. I don't know. The tease for a new member was kind of okay, well, who's the new member? But now that JD is back, are they getting a new member still? I don't know. But anyways, Dominic Mysterio retained his title through the help of JD, and then Liv and Raquel come in. They all are celebrating and happy. Everyone got their titles, and we're all just one big happy family for
I don't know.
now. I also, Finn Balor is really surprised to see JD and everything else like that. But I mean, eventually he went and joined them with and had the celebration as well. I don't know what is going to happen, but something needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? What are we doing? Because the well is running dry. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Let's talk about Io Sky. So Io Sky comes out and she basically said thank you to the audience and everything else. She talked about how she beat both Bianca and Rhea and everything. And then we have Stephanie Vancouver come out and made her TBS everyone was fucking crazy. You know. Anyways, they all went crazy and everything like that. And Stephanie Vancouver was just I just come out here to say congratulations and show my respect and everything else, and say that I want to go up against the best, right? And Io Sky, you want to go up against the best? I'm like, well, why won't we just fight right here, right now? So Adam Pearce comes out. People started booing because they thought like he was gonna say something, but he basically said if the audience want to see this match, and obviously they do, so they put the match on, and it was a great match. I think it went like 13 or 14 minutes. It was a fantastic match and everything. They all hit their spot. Stephanie like her did her, the famous Devil's Kiss that everyone goes crazy for, and everything else like that. The one thing that I was worried about in this match was like the winner, because it's like
I was almost there.
You don't want to like you look weak, and you don't want to look Stephanie look weak. So it's gonna like what's gonna happen. Luckily, it got it was called the match was called out by disqualification because Roxanne Perez, I believe she attacked Io Sky, so I guess Io Sky won by disqualification, which is fine. Io Sky Roxanne attacks Io Sky, and then you have Julia from NXT, and she attacks Stephanie Ventura, and they're both attacking them and everything like that. And then you hear Rhea Ripley's music come out, and she runs out to the ring, pretty much saves Io and Stephanie by attacking Roxanne Perez, and then like she didn't attack Julia because Julia and her kind of have like a stare off and everything else like that, and Julia was like gets out the ring and stuff, right? I can't wait. Like these 5 ladies in this ring right now, I'm like, oh my god! Like look at this women's roster right here. This is going to be amazing, and if they do Evolution 2. Oh my gosh, man, with these fucking ladies, I don't know, they're all fighting each other, but with these fucking ladies in that shit, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to it. But anyways, they had that. Rhea Ripley picks up the title, hands the title to Rhea Ripley and basically says, I'm coming for that, right? Now at the end of that, she starts walking off. She walked out the ring, and Io was there staring at her, like shaking her leg in approval, like, alright, like I'll be ready for you, you know what I mean? So they had that. It was great. Good to see Stephanie on there. It's good to see Julia and Roxanne, stuff like that. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do with these ladies. But let's go ahead and move on. So we had the New Day come out there, the new World Tag Team Champions, and they're basically talking and telling the audience that we should all go down on our hands and knees and thank God for the New Day and everything else like that. And Dad, Alpha Academy came out, and Maxine Dupree, she cut a promo. She did a good job. I think she did good with this promo, and she was like, last time you fought Alpha Academy, you lost in like 60 seconds. She called them the Minutemen and basically said, hey, challenge these guys for the titles and everything else like that. So they're further saying no, and then she just kept taunting them and everything like that. Eventually they're like, okay, fine, we'll fight them, get a referee out here right now. A ref comes out and everything else, and they're about to fight, and then some music started playing, and someone came out, and that someone was Rusev, and I was like, holy shit, he is fucking back. I fucking love this. I'm all for it. And he looks, oh my god, dude, he looks so fucking good. So fucking just chiseled. So fucking good. Bald head and everything else. Fucking beard, bald head and everything else. Right? I was kind of confused about why he came out during a tag match. I didn't really understand that. Like, it's great to see him, but I'm like, why a tag match? It's like, you don't have a tag partner. It's like, what's going on, right? Eventually, he comes into the ring.
What are you doing?
New Day splits, right? They're gone. Like, they don't want no part of Rusev. Rusev basically attacks Alpha Academy and everything. No, and lays them out and everything like that. But it was great, and that was pretty much the end of the segment. You can see Maxine Dupree. She was like looking at Rusev, like shaking her head. Like, I could probably see maybe Maxine Dupree being a manager for Rusev, but maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I don't understand why they put him out there during a tag match. I've heard people say that maybe it's possibility, and I kind of like the idea that maybe they can team him up with Sheamus, right? And then maybe go after those tag titles, you know? I can see it. I mean, I remember, oh my god, what was that fucking group they were in with fucking Sheamus, Rusev, Cesaro, and
you talking about them?
Wait, I can't even think of that fucking group. I can't think of it, but yeah, I can see that being a thing and like that, because it doesn't make any sense for him to come out during like a tag team, right? I can't see it. I don't know, but if they put him up with Sheamus and stuff like that, why the fuck not? You know? But yeah, it's good to see Rusev again. I'm happy. I'm glad he's back and everything else. It's been like, what, 5 years since we've seen him in a WWE ring? I can't wait to see what this guy does. It's great. I fucking love it. Alright, well, let's move on to the next segment. So the next thing we have Jey Uso, your new heavyweight champion. They had a great promo. Not great promo, a video package for Jey Uso. It was great. It talked about, like, it had all his things from his beginnings to now and everything else like that. It was great. I really loved it. I think WWE is very great when it comes to these video vignettes and these video promotions and stuff like that. They do an excellent job on that for sure. Everybody's yeeting and everything else like that. He gets into the ring and all this other stuff, you know, does the daps to Pat McAfee, does the daps to
black people.
Cole. And everyone's just happy and stuff like that, all this other stuff, and it's just a great time, right? And they're yeeting. I don't know, they yeeted for a long ass time. I think like the whole sequence was like 15 minutes.
You'll never catch me,
I mean, there's some stuff in them that I'll get to. I'll get there, but yeah. And then the audience like one more time. But he turns off the music, say something, and he's like puts the belt down. And he does this little hand thing, and they yeet it some more and everything else like that, right? And Jey Uso, he finally speaks. Right, he says, you know, he's like talking about how he finally got there. He said he wanted this since he was a kid and everything else, and he finally championed everything else. And he talked about how he gave everything he had to beat Gunther. And I'm like, maybe Gunther just not, you know, maybe he just cracks under pressure under the big lights. I don't know. Maybe he can't handle it. Maybe he can't hang. I don't know. Anyway, the audience was like,
I told you,
yelling. He tapped out.
People don't look for this face. I can't help it.
Jey Uso was like, and I make Gunther tap out. So they started shouting,
it's not my fault.
And they started telling you deserve it and everything else like
that.
The crowd was happy for Jey
Uso.
Then you have
and I understand
the return of Sami Zayn. He comes
but it wasn't my fault.
He's like, you know, basking in the audience.
Was not my fault.
Giving him love and everything else like that, because he wasn't at WrestleMania. So he's soaking it all in, soaking all in the Las Vegas love and all this other stuff. And he goes in,
it's not my fault.
Right. And like my initial thought, right, I'm like, oh no, Sami Zayn attack Uso, isn't he, right? Because I'm just like, he has a title now, so everybody is an enemy, you know? You're a target now. You know, that's it. You're just a target, right? Fucking like Stone Cold Steve Austin said, DTA, don't trust anybody. But they had Sami come out, and Sami was like, you know, basically saying that talked about how he was not gonna come to WrestleMania, not come to Vegas because he wasn't in WrestleMania, how upset he was and everything else like that, and how upset he was that Jey was going through what he was going through with Gunther in those last 8 weeks and stuff like that, and he couldn't be there because he was obviously playing off the effects of the Elimination Chamber with Kevin Owens. But he talks about how he was proud of him, how he deserved it and everything else like that. He said, well, I'm not here to get all sentimental and mushy and everything else. This is a celebration. Let's celebrate. Hit his music. They hit Jay's music again. They were like yeeting and everything else. And they were happy. And Jey Uso was on top of like the ring, you know, the second rope, you know, doing like holding for in the on the top of the rope, on the second rope, holding up the title. Now, there was this one spot where Sami Zayn is like right behind Jey Uso. And my heart was beating out of my chest. Because I was like, please don't let Sami turn heel. We already had Becky turn heel. We don't need another redhead turn heel. Okay? Okay? I get it. No, we don't need it. I'm like, oh, please don't do this. I'm like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why, WWE? Why? And luckily, thankfully, they didn't do it. And I was like, oh my gosh. They didn't do it. And I'm just like, oh. Then Jimmy comes out. And they all celebrated and everything. They all reunited and celebrated. And, they go up to the ramp. Jey Uso holding the title on top of the stage. That was the end of that segment. I was like, that segment took forever. Like, the longer they took, I'm like, oh my god, he's going to attack him. He's going to attack him. I'm like, in the segment already. Just end it. You're giving me a heart attack. End this shit already. Right? But I don't think Sami is going to turn heel anytime soon. You have Royal Rumble on Saudi Arabia next year. So, a lot of people are saying that Sami's going to win. And it would be better if Sami wins as a face than a heel. I like the idea a lot. I can see after maybe like the person who might go after Jay might be Seth Rollins. I don't know. I don't know. I can probably see that, or maybe somebody else. I have no idea. But anyways, let's talk about Gunther. So we had Gunther. This was like after a segment. They went back to commercial. When they came back from the commercial, I'm not going to call it commercial, an ad. They came back from an ad, and when they came back from this ad, they had Gunther basically leaning over the desk talking to both Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, right? And Michael Cole is like, I'm just doing my job, whatever, thing like that, so other stuff. It's like,
are you sure
I'm not the one who tapped out to Jey Uso, right? And Gunther didn't like that, right? Gunther was like, what? Like, you're talking that shit, right? And everything else, and he pushes Michael Cole, he pushes Pat McAfee, and then he puts Michael Cole in a sleeper, right? Well, he tried to put him in a sleeper, but Pat McAfee comes out doing like his own version of the Superman punch on Gunther, and Gunther's like, what? You put your hands on me? You got a death wish or something? And he tries to go for the sleeper. Then you had basically like what? Greg Helms, Adam Pearce, all these other security people come out and try to like stop Gunther. And they did it for a little bit. Gunther broke free because security at WWE fucking sucks, right? And Gunther put Pat McAfee in a sleeper hold, and Pat McAfee was turning all the blues in the Crayola box, every color blue in the Crayola box. That's what Pat McAfee was doing. Everything else. Pat McAfee's crew, like his podcast crew, they were sitting in the front row. They jumped over the barricade and they tried to stop Gunther, and they got fucking taken away and everything else like that. It was fucking crazy. It was fucking great, right? It was fantastic. Fucking loved it. Right? And he was basically, and I finally got Gunther off of Pat, and they escorted him out the up to the ramp and everything like that. Michael Cole is checking on Pat and everything else, and Pat, he's selling the chokehold, he's holding his neck, he's fucking coughing and everything else. He's spitting up like fucking like shit. He's spitting up fucking like liquid out his fucking mouth and everything else. It was great. Like, saliva is coming out of his mouth, and like it was fantastic. He's playing the role just beautifully, right? They go up to the ramp to the medic. Michael Cole walks up with him and everything else like that. All this other stuff, right? And they go to an ad, come back from an ad, and at the announcers you hear Joe Tessitore. And Joe Tessitore, Joe Tessitore, he's wearing like a suit. He's very professional. But Joe Tessitore was playing it like, I didn't even know I was going to be here. So doing commentary. So he had basically, he was casual. He had like, some pants on, like kind of like some regular pants on and like a polo shirt and everything else like that. But he was playing the part. He was playing the part of, well, I didn't know this was going to happen kind of part. And I loved it. Michael Cole was backstage with Pat, making sure he was okay. And he starts talking to like Adam Pearce and everything else. Adam Pearce was like, why don't you go and take the rest of the night off and everything else. Cho's out there, he can handle the commentary. He's like, Michael Cole's like, look, I'm not gonna let some bully stop me from doing what I need to do, stop me from doing my job and everything like that. But how are we supposed to do things and stuff like that with this kind of environment? Like, how are we supposed to have fun on commentary? Like, I'm just telling a joke and everything else like that. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe you should watch your mouth, Michael Cole. Obviously, Gunther don't like jokes, especially when it's about him. Anyways, Michael Cole goes back out, and the audience is cheering for Michael Cole. They're like, Michael Cole. They sing a lot of songs. They sing name songs. I love it. Michael Cole comes out, tests the Taurus, like, you alright? Do you need anything and everything like that? He's like, no, I'm alright and everything like that. Michael Cole said that Gunther probably broke his nose. Michael Cole's playing off the slight chokehold that he pretty much had on him and everything else. It was fantastic stuff. Now I don't know what this means for Gunther. I was hearing about maybe Pat McAfee getting Goldberg, and you have Goldberg versus Gunther. Maybe. I don't think Pat McAfee versus Gunther would be a good match, but if you get Goldberg versus Gunther, plus they had that whole thing last year before the that whole fucking crown jewel thing and everything else like that, so you can circle back to that, I guess. Or somebody else could go in for Pat McAfee and stuff like that. I don't know, but it's gonna be real interesting. I really enjoyed that segment. It was great. It was great, and it made Gunther look really strong. Anyways, let's move on. We had AJ Styles being interviewed in the back, talking about how he felt about losing to Logan Paul at WrestleMania. AJ Styles, like, the point of being phenomenal is that sometimes you have to bounce back from losses and everything else like that. Right? You just bounce back. And then Karrion Kross had like a great segment that's being passed around on a podcast and everything else, where he's basically just using everyone's real name and cussing people out and all this other fucking stuff, and I'm just like, you go, Karrion Kross. Like, if they don't do something with Karrion Kross, it is criminal. But anyways, Karrion Kross is up and talking to AJ, and he's like, oh really, why didn't you just do what I asked you to do what I told you to do, and get the brass knuckles and hit him and everything like that? You just made our whole thing look bad and everything else. And AJ's like, why you want me to be the AJ that was beating up Cody Rhodes last year? Because I hated that person and everything else. It's like, if I would have took those brass knuckles and hit him, it would have been absolutely nothing, right? And he's like, look, if you want to be mad at the world, that's fine. You deal with that and everything else. It's like, if you want something done with it, do it yourself. And Karrion Kross is like, well, maybe I will. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means he's going to take care of Logan Paul. I don't know if that means he's going to have to continue to feud with AJ Styles. I would not mind him feuding with AJ Styles. I think it's great and stuff like that. But I don't know what Paul is doing. I don't know what AJ is doing. I don't know what Karrion Kross is doing. But I want to see more Karrion Kross, that's for sure. Anyways, moving on to the next segment. Alright, so the last thing that I want to talk about was the last thing that happened on Raw. You had Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins come out, and Seth Rollins comes out with regular music with Paul Heyman in tow, and he's wearing all white and everything else. He kind of reminded me a little bit of Seth Rollins, the Messiah, and everything else like that. But anyways, he comes out. The crowd is singing the song, then the crowd started booing him, and then the crowd started shouting for CM Punk, and then the crowd started shouting for OTC, and then the crowd started chanting "fuck you, Heyman," and then the crowd was very confused. They didn't know where to align themselves, right? You know, they're like, I don't know what to do. They're very, very bipolar crowd. They were like, should we go over here, should we go over there? They didn't know. I'm like, yeah, I get it, crowd. I get it. You don't know who you vote for. I get it. You don't know who to cheer for. I understand. Trust. Anyway, so Seth Rollins is talking about how he is, you know, he's a stick. He's a evolutionary, blah 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 blah, and everything else. And he talks about how he took a wise man from Roman Reigns. He stole CM Punk's best friend. He's about to say something else, and CM Punk comes out. CM Punk is like taping up his hands because he's about to kick the living shit out of fucking Seth Rollins, and stuff like that. Seth Rollins goes and he's ready, and he takes off his jacket that he had and everything else. He had like a black tank top and white pants, and him and Punk start going at it and everything like that. Eventually Punk got the best of him and all this other stuff. Punk goes after Paul and everything. He puts Paul in the corner. He's about to like do something to Paul. Doesn't matter because Seth Rollins comes in and pretty much attacks him, pokes him in the eye, and then gives him a curb stomp. So then Paul Heyman, he gets the mic. He just basically says, "Oh, we're gonna include everything else right now. We're going to talk about what happened this WrestleMania all the way to next WrestleMania, right?" Who did he call Rollins? The reigning, defending, something number one superstar of all time, some shit like that. I don't fucking know. It was a lot, right? And everything else like that. And Seth is just holding in the ring, and then you hear Roman Reigns' music, and he's coming out, and Rollins throws out CM Punk out the ring, and he basically looks at, you know, Paul and everything like that. Roman comes in, and, you know, he ducks a clothesline from Seth Rollins, and then or a punch or something, and spears Seth Rollins, right? And then he spears Seth Rollins. He Superman punches Paul Heyman, and he's about to get ready to spear the living fuck out of Paul Heyman. And he was about to, but then Roman Reigns gets speared by a mystery man in the black hoodie because WWE loves their black hoodies, as we all know, right? And the guy takes off the black hoodie, and lo and behold, who could it possibly be? Who does spears? Who is, as of right now, probably the greatest spear master of all time? Braun Breaker. Yes, that's right. Braun Breaker speared Roman Reigns. Now, as I said, Dominic Mysterio is the new IC title. That meant Braun Breaker lost his title and everything else, right? So Braun Breaker, he spears Roman, and then Seth Rollins looks shocked and everything else, like what the fuck is going on and everything else. And then Punk goes into the ring, and he spears Punk, and that's when Seth Rollins starts laughing and smiling, and he goes over and he pretty much taps Braun Breaker in like the chest area, like he puts his arm around him, taps him in the chest area, and he was just smiling and everything else like that, and he was just so freaking happy and all that other stuff. Roman Reigns is out the ring, go get him, he goes after Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns fights back for a little bit and all this other stuff, but then Braun Breaker does the run around the ring, and he fucking spears the fuck out of Roman Reigns into the Timekeeper's area. Oh my god, this was so fucking beautiful. Anyways, he goes around, he fucking goes and he puts Roman Reigns, and he gets Roman Reigns, and he's holding him on the mat, and they're making him look up. And he's like, look, this is gonna be you, okay, right? And stuff like that. I want you to see this, Rollins. Look at this, watch this. And he curb stomps CM Punk again. right? And then he ends up curse stomping Roman Reigns. Rollins gets in the middle between Heyman and Breaker, lift both their arms up, and ended the show like that. You know, Paul Heyman, well, they didn't show like that. Paul Heyman gives Braun Breaker a kiss on the forehead. Seth Rollins, they put their foreheads together and everything else like that, and it started this great fucking alliance. This was so needed. We needed a strong heel alliance. Now, I don't know who else they're going to add. I've seen people's names be added, like Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, which, oh my god, please don't put Logan Paul in there. I know, just don't. I mean, I could see him being in this group, but oh my god, why ruin this fucking, why do that? I don't think Logan Paul needs to be in this group, I really don't, but Austin Theory, I think Austin Theory could use a little something and stuff like that. People from NXT like Ethan Page, Obi Femi maybe, I don't know, like who knows who you can add to this fucking group, but definitely needed something because Judgment Day is pretty much dead. There is not much of a bloodline as of lately, you know, stuff like that. So a good heel faction like this, oh my gosh, it's incredible. I fucking love it. I thought it was great. I don't know where they go with this, but this was a great makeup for that WrestleMania last match on night 2. Me and Tim talked a little bit more about that on Thursday. Well, we pre-record the videos. We did it before Raw. Usually we do it after Raw, but we did it before Raw. So some of the things might not line up from what we were saying on that show, but in that video on Thursday it's coming up. But you know, you get the gist of it, right? You'll get the gist. But yeah, I love this. I love Braun Breaker teaming up with it. And if this is not like a coincidence, because Paul Heyman had been eyeing Braun Breaker for a while. He eyed him, you know, on NXT and on all other stuff like that. So, and also, Tim, well, you'll find out on Thursday, he actually mentioned how like Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman, you know, and everything else would be a good match for her and stuff like that. But like put them all together and stuff like that, I can see it. I can see Braun Breaker doing big things, and they're already talking about WrestleMania 2. I can totally see Braun Breaker going after like a title, heavyweight title by then. Eventually, you know, you have the student will fucking beat the master, I guess they would say, you know. The student beats the teacher eventually. But we're not gonna go that far ahead, but I really like this this trio so far. It's great. I don't know who they add to it, but I want to be like surprised. I want like a surprise, like a person that I would never imagine being there. And a lot of people are like saying, well, if Becky Lynch would be in there, and I'm like, Becky Lynch be a Heyman girl? Maybe. I don't hate the idea. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyways, that was a good Raw. I really enjoyed it. I hope you did. If you watched it, I hope you did. And thank you for watching this video. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And I will see you in my next video. Okay, bye.